Borno Dam collapse. FG opens IDP camps as flood submerges 70% of Maiduguri. Kindly share this video, subscribe, like and comment below. Borno flood. An aerial view of houses submerged by flooding and residents giving information to officials of the National Emergency Management Agency in Maiduguri. Thousands of Maiduguri inhabitants have been displaced, with the Nigerian Correctional Service recapturing 3 inmates after a jailbreak, while 80% of animals at the Sanda Kyarimi Park Zoo died as Borno State suffered its most devastating flood disaster in 30 years. The Punch reports. Following the disaster, President Bola Tinubu, who's currently abroad, called for the immediate evacuation of residents in communities overtaken by floods. 70% of Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, has been submerged by the fast-moving waters, according to the National Emergency Management Agency, while the flood also ravaged other major city locations, including the Palace of the Shehu of Borno, Umar Ibn Garba El-Kanemi, the State Secretariat, Post Office, Cemetery, Lagos area, Bulabulan, Gwange, Monday Market, University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, and Kofar Shehu. Some locations that I personally know and consider to be high ground, from the report we received, are already underwater, including Lagos Street, the market area, the Palace of the Shehu of Borno, at least the front of the palace, we can see water there, NEMA spokesman Manzo Ezekiel told The Punch. About 70% of the town is already underwater. So, many people are trapped as the flood intensified when people were sleeping. Some people woke up to discover that they were inside water. The NEMA spokesperson said Borno's flat ground geology made it easier for water to flow into passage areas in Maiduguri city, adding that the flood began after the Alao Dam overflowed following heavy rains. The overflow of the main source of the dam in Borno State, called Alao Dam, has brought the city to be underwater since last weekend. So, our attention now and our energy are geared towards providing necessary support, by way of search and rescue, and supporting people that have been impacted. That is what we are doing now. Manzo said NEMA could not ascertain the number of displaced people, as at the time of filing this report, but estimated that with about 70% of the town underwater, then about 70% of the over 800,000 Maiduguri residents might have been affected. Displaced persons relocated. State government efforts to relocate displaced residents were ongoing, according to the NEMA spokesperson, who added that 3 internally displaced people camps had been opened to accommodate those affected. Our search and rescue team are already working with the state officials of the State Emergency Management Agency, providing support to people affected by the flood. By the way, what is happening in Maiduguri is something that was not envisaged, and that it will be to this extent. The flooding has exceeded the forecast made because of what is happening in Maiduguri today, Tuesday. Manzo said city residents moved to a higher ground when the initial flood happened in Gwange. However, the higher ground has been overtaken by water, leading the state government to open the Bakasa camp, a bigger area, for people to move into. Our team is on ground there, and we are working with the State Emergency Management Agency to provide the necessary support, and to save lives from the flooding, Manzo added. Initially, about 3 camps were open in Gwange, but with this situation now, people have moved to join their relations on the higher ground, and those that do not have relations in the higher part of the town, have moved to Bakasa camp. The Borno State Emergency Management Agency described the flooding as terrible. The Director General of the agency, Barkindo Mohammed, said, "We went for a rescue and proceeded to distribute sandbags in Jazeera. As I am talking to you now, on the telephone, I am trapped. We came to rescue some people, and we are now trapped." Already, several institutions and government agencies have shut down, with the University of Maiduguri closed until further notice. Homes are submerged, schools shut down and businesses crippled as people evacuate with their belongings, UNHCR Nigeria stated on its X handle. Floods have killed at least 229 people so far this year, displaced around 386,239 more, and affected 94,491 houses in parts of the country, but mainly in the northern region. At least 125,805 hectares of farmland have also been affected, NEMA figures showed. Tinubu intervenes. President Tinubu expressed deep concerns over the flooding in Maiduguri and tasked relevant government agencies to expedite rescue efforts. While relevant authorities are still assessing the damage wrought by the flood, the president calls for the immediate evacuation of people from affected areas, a statement signed by the president's special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga. President Tinubu extends his heartfelt condolences to the government and people of the state, especially to the families that have lost their means of livelihood due to the disaster triggered by the overflow of the Alau Dam. President Tinubu assures Governor Babagana Zulum that the federal government is ready to collaborate to address the immediate humanitarian needs of the affected people. He orders the National Emergency Management Agency to assist the flood victims. Vice President Kashim Shettima arrived in Maiduguri Tuesday to conduct an on-the-ground assessment of the devastating floods, the Punch learnt. Shettima directed government agencies to provide immediate relief to the affected communities. During his visit, the Vice President is expected to assess the extent of the damage, interact with the displaced residents, and oversee the ongoing relief efforts. He will also hold meetings with state and local government officials to coordinate a comprehensive response plan, the statement added. Also, in a statement, former leader Senate Chief Whip, Ali Njum, also sympathized with the people of Borno, following the devastating flood. Njum, who represents Borno South, said, "What has happened in my dear state capital, Maiduguri, is unfortunate. The level of damage is very bad. I've been briefed, and what I've heard isn't something we should take lightly. Homes, institutions, government agencies, and other businesses have been submerged in the flood. Many people are trapped and are trying to evacuate. I'm worried that the situation may get worse unless the federal government immediately steps in to assist the state government in salvaging the situation." The Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas on Tuesday called on the FG to urgently provide relief materials to Maiduguri residents affected by the flood. In a statement by his special advisor, Media, Musa Krishi, Abbas called for collective intervention to assist victims of the natural disaster. He said, "I am disturbed by the news of the ravaging flood in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. This is a situation that calls for concern to every well-meaning Nigerian. I call on all government agencies responsible for providing quick intervention in times of such emergencies to swing into action for the sake of the affected people." The federal government, under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, is acutely aware of the magnitude of the challenges posed by this disaster. He has since directed all the relevant ministries and agencies to collaborate with the Borno State government in mobilizing the necessary resources to provide urgent relief and assistance to those affected by the unfortunate incident, Idris said. The 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, called on the federal government relief agencies to accelerate their efforts to address the impact of the Borno flooding, which he described as catastrophic. This deluge has ravaged farms and plunged a significant portion of Maiduguri into an urgent humanitarian crisis. I am also informed by available statistics from NEMA that recent floods have damaged approximately 16,488 hectares of farmland across 27 states, destroyed 32,000 houses, and impacted no less than 227,000 people. I earnestly implore the pertinent federal relief agencies to expedite their efforts in mitigating the effects of this calamity. My heart goes out to the people and government of Borno State government as they grapple with the profound economic repercussions of this disaster, the former vice president said. Jailbreak. Reports say over 200 inmates escaped from the Maiduguri Correctional Facility after a portion of the facility's perimeter fence was pulled down in the aftermath of the flood. The floodwaters ravaged the facility's security, damaged barriers and weakened its structure, leading to the escape of the inmates, the Punch learnt. The spokesperson for the Nigerian Correctional Service Borno Command, Bala Adamu, confirmed the jailbreak to the Punch. He stated that following a manhunt for the escapees, 3 were recaptured on Tuesday. We are still assessing the number of inmates who escaped from the prison. As of now, we have recaptured 3 of the escapees, Adamu told the Punch. Meanwhile, the NCOS said it was taking decisive measures to manage the fallout from its medium-security custodial center in Maiduguri. The NCOS spokesperson, Umar Abubakar, said the service had launched an emergency plan that included evacuating inmates to safer facilities, coordinating with security and emergency agencies for support, and ensuring continuous operation of its services. Abubakar noted that the NCOS officials were working diligently to manage the situation and secure the safe transfer of inmates. He stated, "As the agency responsible for the safekeeping of inmates, we want to assure the public that we are taking all necessary measures to ensure public safety, evacuate inmates to a safer facility, ensure smooth operations, and collaborate with sister security and relevant agencies in providing support and assistance to those affected." Contrary to initial reports, the officers and men of the command are working to ensure a smooth and secure transfer process. We appreciate the support and guidance from the Presidency and the Vice President's visit to Maiduguri to assess the situation. We will continue to provide updates, and will like to assure the public that the NCOS is committed to maintaining order and ensuring public safety during this challenging time. The flooding has forced a shutdown of businesses in Maiduguri as residents battle to relocate to safe locations. In the Kofar Shehu area, where the Shehu of Borno resides, the Punch learnt that the flood was intense, as residents, including the Shehu, scampered for safety, leaving behind valuables. The Shehu was taken out this morning after the water became uncontrollable. "I heard they took him to Government House," a resident, Kuda Al-Hassan, said. "The water came unexpectedly, there was no information, until we heard later that the water was released from the dam in the middle of the night." A pregnant woman, Nafisat Mujahid, expressed safety concerns due to her delivery date. "I have antenatal this week, and my delivery date is scheduled for this month. Now, I heard that the flood has ravaged the hospital I use and others. I am in fear," she said. Also, a businessman in Monday Market, Ilyasim Mohammed, said he lost everything, blaming the government for not informing residents of the decision to release water from the dam. "My goods are all gone. I sell biscuits in cartons, sweets and body soaps. The shop is locked but the goods are damaged. We were not informed that there will be a release of the water over the night. I would have at least packed out my goods, now I'm left stranded. I just hope government will come to our aid," he said. While NEMA hasn't been able to ascertain the number of lives lost, the management of the biggest zoo in the city said 80% of their animals died from the catastrophe. "Some deadly animals have been washed away into our communities, like crocodiles and snakes," the Sanda Kyarimi Park Zoo said in a statement. The general manager, Borno State Museum Park, wished to announce that the recent flood disaster has disrupted and caused damage to properties, and loss of lives of more than 80% of the animals. The Arua Consultative Forum expressed deep condolences to Nigerians, especially northerners, over the devastating floods that have ravaged the region. The floods have brought unprecedented challenges to our people, who are already grappling with economic and security issues, Professor Tuka Mohammed Baba, National Publicity Secretary of ACF, said in a statement issued in Kaduna on Tuesday. "We mourn the lives lost and pray for the quick recovery of those injured," he added. The forum urged public emergency response agencies, humanitarian bodies and first responders to provide immediate assistance to affected communities. We urge them to act swiftly and provide aid, including food, shelter, healthcare, and safe drinking water. Share this video, like and subscribe, for more of our videos coming up.
Thanks for tuning in to Smart Okosontv show. Keep exploring, stay curious, and never stop getting the latest information happening around. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to keep the intellect flowing. Until next time, keep sharpening and be smart.